Midtown Manhattan in my early 20s. It was in 1992. And there happened to be a yoga studio on my block, which now that's really commonplace in New York City, but it wasn't like that in the early 90s. So I just started doing yoga there because it was convenient and because I had been a gymnast and a dancer. I have a naturally flexible body, so it was something that was kind of easy for me, and I could do all the poses. And so that was my first exposure to yoga, and then I ended up doing a teacher training at that same studio in 1993. Although I didn't actually start teaching full time until 1999.
Okay. Wow. So that you were back in New York and teaching yoga in 1999. So when did you arrive in Montreal?
I came to Montreal in 2004.
Okay. And then you just taught yoga full time there, or was it like just something you did on the side like most teachers do?
When I came to Montreal? Yeah, I was a certified Anusara yoga teacher at that time when I came to Montreal. And so as soon as I came, I started teaching right away in just regular classes and running Anusara yoga immersions. And I led my first teacher training in 2007. Wow. So I've been teaching full time since 1999. So it's 20 years now.
20 years. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
So you came to Montreal, you opened at one point a yoga studio. And so you were running this yoga studio, teacher trainings. What else? Like you were teaching Anusara, or did you open to other type of yoga? What was the main focus?
Yeah, so my background has always been it's Anusara yoga and Iyengar yoga.
Okay.
So I've always taught alignment-based yoga, and we did make the choice at our studio to not be an eclectic studio. Not that there's anything wrong with eclectic studios, but we really opened the studio for our community. So we were two teachers that opened it together, and we didn't really want to be managing like a big team of teachers and a lot of classes. We really just wanted to have a space that could be a home for the community that we had been building. Mm-hmm. And so we stuck to pretty much, with a few exceptions, we stuck to alignment-based yoga ourselves and teachers that we trained. Mm-hmm. So we chose to go in that direction.
Okay, so that was your main focus. And during that time, that's what I'm trying to calculate. You had like a baby, because I want to talk to, the mothers that are teaching yoga.
Yes.
So you have an 11-year-old, and so you're teaching full time, and you moved 2 years ago from the city to the country.
Yeah.
So that's where basically the possibility of publishing the book came, right?
I actually, after I sold my studio in 2016, that was when that's what really gave me the time to start working on the book. And so I was still teaching at that time, but not having the studio to manage and run really gave me the time I needed every week to continue working on the book. And and then when we moved out to Sutton, actually being in nature has just made it easier. It seems like the creativity kind of flows more for me, at least, surrounded by trees and mountains. So everything kind of happened in perfect timing.
So tell us a little bit, like the idea of the book. And what did you want to contribute to the yoga community with this book?
Yeah. I really like the way you asked that question, because there are so many yoga books out there already. So it's kind of like, why another yoga book? Which I think that's a great question. I think that's a great question. So what I saw in my years of teaching is that, there was the big yoga boom in the mid 90s, right? And since then, yoga has really become so mainstream. It's really, you know, a part of the North American fitness culture now, which is so fantastic. And so what I saw was that there's kind of a whole generation of yoga practitioners who have been doing the physical practice for a while.
Yes.
And they're ready to take it deeper. They're wanting to understand and have some ways to bring the benefits of their practice into their lives, into everything else they do, the other 23 hours of a day. And what I realized was that in the class setting, it's not always so available, right? That information and those approaches, the context of the physical practice, it's not really offered outside of a teacher training sometimes, right? Which is costly and time consuming, and not everybody wants to be a teacher. So I thought there was a real need to put out there the approaches and the strategies to asana practice that have allowed me and the people I've taught over the years to really bring the physical practice into the realm of one's own personal development, you know, and self-discovery. Because there's, as we know, that's what yoga offers us, but only if we know how to do it that way. So it's not really that I think people need to be doing a different kind of yoga or even more yoga. I really think it's just knowing how to approach it in a way that really allows them to take the benefits into their lives in a very conscious way. I felt that was a contribution that I could make to, again, those people who've been doing yoga for a while and are ready to kind of get more out of their practice.
So are you focusing on you're saying the physical practice, but are you touching like some parts of when you're doing the teacher training, the philosophy, or are you focusing on just like, let's say, the pranayama, the asana, and how we can organize our practice in
my teacher trainings?
In your book?
Oh, in the book, yeah, definitely. It's an integrated approach.
Okay.
I mean, so every chapter has, I always think the best yoga books are interactive, right? Because yoga is not something we just want to understand with our minds, right? It's something that we're meant to practice and bring into our experience. Yeah. So I created a asana sequence for every principle that I present. There's journaling exercises. I also have online bonus content, audio visualization. There's breath work for each chapter. So there's a whole, in fact, if you go to evolvingyouryoga.com, there's free bonus content that you can sign up for. So that's really meant to complement the experience of the book. For sure, because I think most people come to yoga through the physical practice, and I love asana, and I'm an asana teacher. But as we know, the physical practice was always contexted within not just a philosophical understanding, but it went hand in hand with other practices. So I think the bringing the element of self-inquiry was really important to me. The swadhyaya, that's what makes asana different from any other kind of exercise or physical movement that we do, that there is that self-reflective awareness. So the journaling exercises were really important to me to offer students ways, again, because I think it's something that is often not offered within the regular class context, just how to articulate one's experience in yoga in order to strengthen, deepen, expand and integrate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. And can you tell us a little bit about some of the principles, maybe one principle that you bring into your book?
Sure. Well, the first principle is based on the title of the book. It's your yoga. So it's just this idea that I think is, on one level, it's kind of obvious, but I don't think it's always so explicitly stated, that yoga is a practice, I believe, that can change and adapt and evolve to serve us throughout our lifetimes. that, also as a mother, right, that the role of asana and the role of all the practices of yoga, they change over time. I mean, there was a time, probably like you, when I could practice for 2 hours a day, and like yoga was the center of my life. I was blessed and privileged to have that time. But now my life is not like that at all. So I find that sometimes we can start feeling really bad about that. Like, oh, why can't I do what I used to do? And, just even on the level, our bodies are always changing. I'm turning 50 in a few months. What my body wants to do now is different than what I wanted to and could do as a 23-year-old, right?
Totally.
So I feel like we can really easily get into this mindset of kind of letting ourselves down and kind of sabotaging how we can actually use yoga right now. So just this idea that yoga, we can use yoga, we should be able, or I want us to be able to use yoga in a way that serves us.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And that can change. So what that looks like throughout our lives will change. And also the idea of deepening practice, right? Like what is an advanced pose?
Yeah.
Like, is it just being able to do something someone else can't do, right?
Yeah.
That's sometimes how we think about it. But, we know that it's really the attention that we give to it, the way we're able to kind of awaken the consciousness in the body and kind of penetrate deeper. I mean, we can go deep in Tadasana.
Exactly.
Right. So there's so many facets to this idea of how yoga practice changes and evolves over time. And so one of the, the foundational principles of the book is let's look at this. Let's see how we can support that evolution of our practice and allow the practice to really serve us in all the ways it can throughout our lifetime.
Wow. So having you can have this book by your yoga mat and really find something. Even if you're like 23 and just starting yoga, or being 50 and have kids and don't have much time, and find something. So it's like it goes through the cycles of life. So you can have this and practice yoga for life, basically.
Yeah, well, it's meant to really provide the approaches to practice.
Okay.
That allow the practice to evolve.
Yeah.
Right? So that's really what the way I define principles for enlightened practice is strategies that infuse our practice with spiritual insight.
Okay.
What are the approaches to practice that make it a transformative tool for our own journey of self-discovery?
Okay. Wow. And so I saw that you are doing like a tour. You're all over.
Yeah.
Really. So for people that are following the page, I know some people are in Europe, and I know you're going to be there. You're going to be somewhere like in Germany, I believe.
I'm going to be UK, Germany, Italy, and Austria.
Okay, cool. So this book is available like really from Amazon. You have the link. I'm going to share the link. And tell us a little bit about your online community.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So my online community is called the Skillful Yogi.
Skillful Yogi.
And I'm really proud of what we're creating here. I feel like even though, as we know, there's a lot of online yoga out there, I feel like the integrated approach to practice that I'm offering for the online community I support is really unique in the online yoga world. So I do weekly alignment-based classes. I write daily content for my members. So it's about practice, but it's also about living yoga. So it's really for yoga teachers and continuing students who are not only interested in having really creative, I think really well sequenced classes designed for them, alignment-based practice, but also having tools and practices and support to integrate their practice into their lives. So we have members now from 10 countries.
Okay,
on 4
wow.
continents. And what I found is that even though now there's yoga studios everywhere, once as people have continued over time, we get really selective about what works for us in terms of asana. So it's not necessarily the studio down the street, right, that's going to meet our needs for practice. And even community. I've always been someone that has felt very strongly in the support, in the necessary and beneficial support of a yoga community. And again, some of us live rurally, right, where there may not be an in-person community, or the studio near us may not really be the kind of studio that encourages community. So we're creating, we can go beyond geography now with all the online tools available to create a community of people who are really dedicated, again, not only to deepening their practice, but to kind of integrating and bringing their yoga into their lives and into the way that they teach students as well. So
okay, so it's like they get even if they didn't do like a training with you, they can access this online and have access to
absolutely
your knowledge, your
absolutely. And in fact, just this week we are unveiling a brand new platform for the membership that's really beautiful and user friendly. It's really well designed and organized. So all the classes are there. All the written content is there. I do a special kind of in-house podcast for the teachers in the membership. I have guest teachers as well. So there's really a lot on there. And a lot of expansion coming too. So it's really exciting.
So is it all on your website? Or is it, okay, because you said earlier evolvingyouryoga.com?
Yeah, that's the book page. Okay. And then barrierisman.com, my name, will take you right to the membership.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to share these links so you can have
Thank
access to that. And if people want to know more about it. And is there anything that you would like to just share to the audience? Like it's mostly people who are interested in yoga, who are following this page, and some teachers, some not, some mothers, some. What would be the word that you would, I don't know, share from the heart, from your experience?
Well, I would say I think it's. Can I share a little bit more than just a word?
Oh yeah.
What I think. What I think. Why. One of the real inspirations for writing this book was seeing how easy it can be to look around at the mainstream yoga world and the rapid commercialization of yoga that we've seen, and really start to view our practice in light of the images the market is trying to sell us about what a yoga body should look like, about what a yoga lifestyle should look like. And so I really want to encourage everyone to find the true spirit of yoga in a way that serves you and reclaim that for yourself, that we don't have to, we are, I think in, those of us who've been teaching for a while, there's a big movement there's a big movement happening, I think, to reclaim the true spirit of yoga. And I just want to encourage everyone to start to just reject, if those images are not working for you, that is not what yoga is meant to be about. In fact, that's the opposite of what yoga is meant to be about, right? We know that yoga is a path that can be a path of inner discovery and self-honoring and self-love. And yet sometimes looking outward, it starts to work against us in the same way it should be working for us. So I just want to say, if you feel that way, you are not alone. There's a lot of us that are with you, and that, it is my honor and my delight to help students and to inspire students to reclaim the true spirit of yoga to serve them in their lives. So that's really, if the book can serve that in some small way, that's really gratifying for me. So that's what I wish for all of you.
I have goosebumps. No, really.
Me too.
It sounds so, it feels true. This is what it is about. And thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank you so much for having me
yeah,
on.
yeah, it was wonderful. And maybe sometimes we can have you again, and you can share some more wisdom with us. You can connect with Barrie on her website, barrierisman.com, and you have Evolving Your Yoga, her book. We're going to share the link just below.
Great.
And I hope to meet you in person.
Yeah, we're going to meet.
Yeah, she's going to be at Wanderlust this summer in Tremblant. Yeah. So, or look at all the dates. She's traveling a little bit around the world to promote the book. So connect with her if you wish to know more about it. Thank you, Barrie.
Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.